Welcome into the Toyota Lounge for the DNVR Avalanche post-game podcast. Yes, we are just crazy enough to do this. Don't be crazy like us. Go to your local Front Range Toyota dealerships instead. The scoreboard is wrong. The Stavs actually lost 4-2 because empty netters do exist.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. I can't do a 60-second rundown for that game. I won't. You can't make me.
Okay.
Let's talk about the things that actually mattered in this hockey game.
It ended.
It ended. That might be the only thing that matters.
Good show.
Beyond that, look, the Avs iced a lineup of all time.
Yeah.
For sure. And the Stars iced at least half of an NHL lineup.
We were having a pretty good laugh that the Stars announcers were like, oh, there are only 2 players on the ice in this game who appeared in the postseason series, and they were Alexander Georgiev and Chris Wagner.
That sums it up.
Hey, all right.
Of the 4 goals scored on the Avs.
10 for the Stars, by the way.
Yeah, well.
To give you an idea of the disparity in lineups here. So,
sure. Cool. To that point, Dallas scored 4 goals tonight. 1 was an empty netter, and 3 came from the line of Sagan, Duchesne, and Benn. So.
Sick.
Yeah, the NHL players beat down on the not NHL players.
Or the almost NHL players, or the quad A players, or the however you want to call them.
Yeah. The reality is there was most of the guys tonight weren't playing for NHL lineup spots. Let's be honest. But a few of the ones that were looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So, got that going for it.
Yeah, and I think that's encouraging that the guys that you want to have fighting for the jobs here separate it.
Yep.
I think we can go ahead and take Jean-Luc Foudy and Oscar Olausson out of this.
Yep. Tonight was that coffin was already pretty closed, but tonight felt like the final nail for sure. We'll get into some of the guys who really stood out, but you get a goal out of Parker Kelly, you get a goal out of Ivan. Those are the things that, particularly Oscar Olausson, the one thing he should be good at is scoring goals.
He had a wide open opportunity in the third period with them down by 1 and right into the glove.
Yep.
It was a nice save and all, but
when that's the one thing you're good at.
Like your greatest selling point as I need to be on this team is the ability to score goals.
Yep.
And not junk goals, not like he's not a pigeon
Shooters
just floating
goals.
around.
Yeah,
exactly. The Burakovsky goal.
And the other parts of his game just haven't been where they needed to be for him. So if that's not there either, tough to see a path through for him.
Yeah.
Same thing for Foudy. I mean, I don't know. Foudy's a tough one. It just felt like he ran out of runway a little bit with all of the guys that got put in front of him this offseason.
Yeah.
Where if he didn't show spectacularly, it was going to be tough for him to find a way in.
Yeah, and he's going to be an interesting what if.
Yep.
As a guy who did not get to continue his OHL career, played pro hockey, actually had a lot of momentum going for him, and then it got halted by a pretty serious injury, and then he hasn't really gotten it back. And now the Avs have just dropped a bunch of guys in front of him. So,
and a couple of them earned spots tonight. Did a better job earning spots than Foudy did. I'll put it that way.
I've outplayed him significantly.
Yeah,
it's not like the Avs aren't giving him a chance. They've given him 2 games.
Yep.
They've played 2 games.
And he hasn't done much with either.
Yeah.
So
he's been outplayed by the guys that he would be competing for spots with. So I think it's for this preseason, for this opening night, barring a rash of injuries, I think we can write those 2 off.
I would agree. An unfortunate reality of that situation. And
might see him again during the season. Injuries come up, whatever happens. But
they can
for
run
right
it
now,
in the AHL or whatever it is. But as far as preseason goes, end of the rope, probably.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, let's talk about these 2 very briefly. I don't think there is much to say, but the 2 certainly one surefire NHLer, the other feels like a surefire NHLer. Georgiev and Belmar, is there even anything worth taking away from this game for those two?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
I honestly didn't really notice Belmar. This is probably the quietest performance that he's had since this whole thing started with him. The preseason. And Georgiev, the 2 goals he gives up are on
free in the slot dudes that are
a 2-on-1. Yep. Matt Duchene goes bar down and then behind the net out in front where just horrific
goalie
coverage.
Nightmare.
And we were just like, I can already hear Eric listening to this going, you just need a save, but
I don't know about needing a save on those two.
Yeah, come on.
Tough for sure. Hard to take anything from a goaltender when you, again, look at the lineup in front of him.
Yeah, we're going to take anything away from Jake Ottinger giving up 2 goals to an AHL lineup?
Right.
No. Both of those goals were sick goals.
Yep. Which we'll get to.
Yeah, we will.
I wanted to look at the defensive side of it first. I know you want to talk about the goals, and we'll get to that forward battle. But on the defensive side, there are only really 2 guys that you're seriously looking at in this game as far as the NHL is concerned. Yeah, sure. Maybe this guy's out playing Jacob McDonald for the second call-up spot, the 11th defenseman on the team or whatever.
Jacob McDonald's not doing himself any favors right now. He was bad in game 1. He was bad again tonight.
Admittedly so, but as far as the Avs are concerned, the 2 you were watching tonight was DeHaan and Malinski, who they paired together.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, it's 2 preseason games. That's not a big sample size. You've had 1 game each for the 4 dudes in that roster spot battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Sam Malinski's at the top of that list for me, man.
Yeah, Sam Malinski was really, really good tonight. He makes 1 bad play.
Yep.
It's at the blue line.
Tries to step up on a guy and then gets walked around.
Does nothing. And then it's just some good old-fashioned bad luck on
puck
the back
bounces,
door.
baby.
Yeah, Matt Duchene redirects a puck that is headed wide and it
off Malinski.
Malinski's leg, and it goes into his own net, and you're just like,
tough. That's tough.
Hockey's brutal that way, dude. It really does brutalize you and makes a mistake 5 seconds earlier, and it comes back to haunt him in that way. Yikes.
Look, better in preseason game 2 than game 7 of round 1. Just ask Ben Myers, all right?
Oh. Brutal. Brutal bounce, dude.
Yep. So, on that front...
other than that, though, Malinski was great. He was very active. He was moving his feet. He was playing with a lot of confidence. He was one of the only guys out there that looked like he knew what he was doing with the puck from the back end.
Particularly in the offensive zone. You're like, oh, yeah, this is what an Avs defenseman does.
He was jumping into the play, holding his blue line. So many good reads from Sam Malinski.
Yep.
He looked locked in. He looked like a guy that understands, I am battling for my life out here.
Yep.
He is doing math. And he is saying, I'm probably number 8.
Yep.
And then after tonight, you're like, hey.
Maybe I'm more than that.
Make them make decisions.
Yeah.
That's what you saw out of Sam Malinski tonight. Very encouraging.
On the flip side of that, Calvin DeHaan, his partner, had 1 very bad pinch that led to the first goal of the game for Dallas.
Yep.
But also had some moments that made you go, oh, yeah, okay, well, I see why Jared Bednar is going to like this guy.
Yeah, the one in particular that we were talking about, he does the EJ slide, but it's a perfect version of it. He slides towards the puck, but not at a bad angle that takes himself out of it, where the guy can just outweight him. Ends up getting across the crease, reduces the passing lane to nothing, and the puck goes right into his gear. It was a perfect...
Yep.
He makes no mistakes that led to the 2-on-1 that he was defending. He was not involved in it at all.
And bailed him out.
And he bailed him out with a great defensive play. It was a good read by him. He understood it. It was well timed. It was well executed. And I thought he was solid. Just a good old fashioned, it was fine performance. Wasn't amazing. Didn't knock your socks off. But with Calvin DeHaan, it's never going to.
True.
He's a 3rd pairing defenseman in the NHL. Like, that guy is not often going to have games where you're like, woo, 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 woo.
Right. There's a very scripted role for Calvin DeHaan, and he did that part of the game, I thought, reasonably well tonight.
Yeah.
When you look at him and you go, okay, well, probably not going to expect a ton out of him when it comes to moving the puck up ice effectively, and the offensive zone might be not Jack Johnson level, but
I did
minimal.
like a couple of the decisions that he made with the puck in the offensive zone, where it was just understanding, okay, here's where I'm not putting this into danger. I'm not putting us in a position to have a break the other way. I'm not creating anything. It wasn't
definitely a Blue Chew moment right there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like amazing, right? But it's just smart. It extends a possession and it gives the guys in front of him a chance. That's who he is. That's what he's going to do.
Yep. My question is that enough to lock down a roster spot for opening night? And not a roster spot, I should say a starting lineup spot. He'll certainly have a roster spot.
So far, Brandstrom and Malinski have been better, but when you look at who they are, the skill sets of it, this is what we've talked about all along with Calvin DeHaan.
Yeah.
He brings a different element that the other guys just don't, which inherently makes him more valuable. And is that so valuable that the Avs want to give him burn there, or do they want to play Sam Malinski? Because if they get the Sam Malinski they got tonight, you feel really good. But I say this all the time, and we're going to get here again with Nikolai Kovalenko when we get here, when we talk about him.
We'll get there.
It's very easy to look at a player when he plays at his absolute best and say, well, that's the real him. No, it's not.
When you're sick if it was.
Yeah. When you see the 10 out of 10 performance, you don't go, oh, yeah, that's who he actually is. It's who he can be from time to time.
But
that was Sam Malinski. But how often can he get to an 8 or a 9? You know, and this is we always talk about this is the Logan O'Connor conversation of when you're having a 7 night.
Yeah, what do you look
still
like?
contribute?
Yeah.
Are you going to hurt the team at all? And that's the battle. And unfortunately, with only 6 preseason games and so many of these guys to rotate in and out, they're not going to have a lot of opportunity here
to find the consistency,
to find any kind of rhythm, to separate, and they're all going to be in different situations.
Yep.
This was an NHL heavy lineup. That is a good, tough task for both DeHaan and Malinski as a top pairing in this game. And Malinski passed with flying colors.
Yep, agreed. So let me ask you, today, who's your bottom pairing for the Colorado Avalanche?
Today, on opening night against Vegas, who's big and mean and ugly and wants to rock your shit, I would probably go with DeHaan and Brandstrom.
Okay.
But against Columbus, I'm willing to change it up.
You'll play anybody against Columbus.
And that's the thing. I'm not wed to any of these options at the moment.
And we've seen Bednar historically be willing to flip-flop that for if he feels like they're playing a physical team, he'll put...
Yeah.
They don't have Curtis McDermott anymore, but he was often the guy that would draw in for a heavyweight fight, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So I do expect a good amount of rotation in the first portion of the regular season, too, when it comes to that decor, at least the bottom pair of it.
Yeah, don't feel like we are anywhere close to done in this battle. This battle should carry on well into the season.
Not just the preseason is my point there, is that will continue on.
But in our constant evolving conversation of game 1 lineup.
In this moment, feels
Yeah.
like Malinski and Brandstrom have shown the best so far, but lineup considerations do matter a lot when it comes down to
For the
how
record,
those
Malinski
go.
was really good defensively in this game, too.
Yep.
Great on the PK, had a really good stick in front of the net that stopped what looked like it could have been, had a good chance to be a goal. So, good for him.
To your point, outside of the one poor play, couple of moments where you saw the size be a bit of a problem for him. So, is what it is. For the people that are concerned about the Avs' defensive size,
Me?
Malinski doesn't help that.
Yeah.
On that note, if you don't want to be concerned about the size of your car, Toyota has got options for you. Do you want a Toyota Tundra? Big old truck? They got you covered. You want an SUV like a 4Runner? They got you covered. Or maybe you see yourselves more as a Sam Girard type and you just want a sedan. Something like a Corolla.
Little
They
Zoom
got you
Zoom?
covered. Yeah, Lil Zoom. Now that's another brand that I can't say that probably, but you know,
Okay.
I think it's the brand you drive, right?
Yep.
Okay, just checking. Anyway, go get yourself a Toyota, your Front Range dealerships. Make sure you check them out. 17 different all-wheel drive vehicles, whether you're on the ice, on the snow, going up into the mountains. They got you covered over at Toyota. And 16 different hybrid vehicles if you want to be eco-friendly. So jump in with Toyota today. They're the official vehicle of DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. You can get yours at one of your Front Range dealerships, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corin Toyota, and Boulder, Groove Toyota, and Littleton, Mountain States Toyota, Endeavor, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. And once you're in your big or small Toyota, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Take it out to one of those hikes out in the wilderness. I don't know. Is Colorado mountains really considered wilderness?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, I guess. I feel like hiking trails are not the wilderness. It's like people are there. You're not like alone and afraid out there, you know?
Like the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Those survival shows are fun.
they are fun, but they're probably pretty unhealthy for you. Don't do that. Get with UC Health and the Ready Set Co program. The whole goal of Ready Set Co is to get Colorado back to the healthiest state in the country, and they've got Coach Prime leading the way for you, whether you need a motivational officer to get you off your butt and working out, or you can also get the Coach Prime that's helping you with the mental side of your health. Go with that. Get whatever you need with UC Health's Ready Set Co program. It's all about being the entire health picture: mental, physical, eating healthy, whatever, you name it.
I would say, just from our Beats experience of a lot of us trying to get healthier and lose weight, the mental battle for me is always the hardest
for
part,
sure.
dude. It's the bad habits trying to break because it's so easy to slide
I
into.
could just have a donut. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I'll just do this. Oh, I'll just do that. And the next thing you know, you've realized you've cut 17 corners and you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is bad. I'm going in the wrong direction.
Yep. Things are bad now.
Yeah. That battle, that mental battle.
You got to win
So
it.
it's so important. It's so important.
So if you want to join UC Health Ready Set Co challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to uchealth.org/readysetco. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. The first real post game of the season, I suppose. We did one other one, but it was the following day as far as you guys are concerned.
Yeah.
We technically did it the same night, but I want to ask you this, Age. I already know the answer, but
Both.
no, it's not a multiple choice question. So, a good answer, though. Technically, the Avs have lost 6 games in a row. Do you care at all?
Oh, of course not.
If the Avs go 0-6 this preseason, do you care at all?
No, dude, I don't care about preseason results.
Okay.
It's always better to win than lose, but I do not care.
I know, but we got to put it out there. It's one of those things. But don't get me wrong. The wins are fun. They're more fun to watch the Avs win, but that is not the objective of preseason.
Yeah.
In the slightest. If it was, you wouldn't have seen the lineup the Avs ice tonight.
Yeah.
So just don't overthink that side of it.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. The
Yeah,
Avs.
just don't worry about these results.
Yep.
Especially when you see really lopsided rosters. Look, this roster put up a hell of a fight, and they should be commended for that effort, that this game was even as competitive as it was. That's a top 3 team in the Western Conference that iced a pretty heavy NHL lineup tonight, and we're talking about maybe 3 of these guys being Avs regulars.
Probably 3, hopefully 3, maybe 4 if things break a certain way.
And even then, Belmar's your 4th line center.
Yeah.
We're talking about DeHaan and Malinski on your 3rd pairing. And then we haven't talked about him much yet, but Nikolai Kovalenko. And I'm obviously not counting Georgiev, who only played half of the game.
Played half the game, right?
Yeah. So maybe 4. Like we're talking like maybe 4 regulars.
Solo dice, the bringing up the comment I always bring up every time the Avs lose preseason games.
Yeah.
By the way, Dallas 4-0 this preseason now. So
Yeah.
They're playing with fire a little bit there, maybe. Who's to say?
Woohoo.
Probably a little bit too good to have that problem, but You never know. You never know. Let's get into that forward side. But before we get to the big one with Kobe, I want to talk about some of the other dudes that ended up producing in this game. When you look at an Ivan, when you look at a Parker Kelly. Now, Ivan, he's the guy that every time you watch him, you like what he has.
I love him. I love the guy.
Be realistic.
You're a hater.
Me. I'm not a hater.
You're a hater.
I just think he's got 98% of the skill he needs. He has the run in and out of talent problem. And that's it's tough at the NHL level. There's a lot of dudes that are close but not quite there.
He needs another good year in the AHL, I think.
You think a full year?
Yeah, but I think
was what I was going to ask.
I think he's coming into as we mentioned with Olausson and Foudy, there's so many bodies now in front of them, and they don't have at the moment the cap space to
that's true
carry a lot of these guys, and then
for them to draw into the lineup.
If Lehkonen, Landeskog, Nichushkin all come back, you're talking about now they're even further away.
All of a sudden, Ivan's your 17th forward,
right?
Or something.
Like he's maybe not even that.
Probably deeper.
You know? Like
yeah.
It's just a tall task for him right now.
Yep.
But you have to appreciate that he is doing really everything. He's playing his game consistently. And he's putting the kind of performance onto the ice that makes you feel like there's a depth guy here.
Yep.
You know, this isn't a guy that we're ever going to talk about top six. He doesn't have overwhelming skill, but the penalties that he got called for tonight were not penalties.
Made up a bit.
And
sure.
he drew a penalty, and then he scores on a power play goal. Now, granted,
no power play time, probably even with the Eagles.
But even that goal, he's just standing on the back door taking a perfect feed from Kovalenko.
He didn't have to do a ton, yeah.
And he just deposits it into an empty net. Great job. But that's it. He is the master of, I'm just taking advantage of the opportunities that I have. There was one play late in the game where, not even that, it was just the third period. Gets the puck, gets it deep into the Dallas zone. Line mates are all going for a change behind him. And he goes in and he pins it and he outworks the two guys along the boards until reinforcements show up. They ultimately lose that board battle, but that's exactly what you want to see from him. He's smart. He understands who he is. He's very good situational from what we've seen last year and so far this year. He just knows how to play the game and the game that he's in.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, okay, well, I have one speed and one mode and one, he adapts to how he's used and to the game situation. That kind of hockey IQ in your bottom six, it plays.
Yep.
It will always play up when you don't have overwhelming skill. You need to find something else. It has to be speed, it has to be physicality, it has to be smart. It's got to be some combination of all those things. And he's got a little bit of all of that. He's not slow. He's not blazing fast, but he's a good skater, and he's very smart. I love the hockey IQ on him, and I'm buying stock in Ivan.
Okay, let's move on to some guys that are maybe a little bit more likely to play in the NHL this year, with Chris Wagner, Parker Kelly.
Both guys I thought were good.
Kelly scoring a goal tonight as well, similar to the Ivan one where he mostly just had to finish a play set up by Kovalenko.
Yep, there was at least a goaltender in net for his.
True,
so.
He had to put it past something.
Sick.
Kelly kind of been a little all over the place this preseason. The Avs have tried him at center.
Yeah.
It feels like they're not really sure what they want to do with him.
Yeah, it feels like they are kind of preparing for the inevitable with Parker Kelly, where they're, hey, we're gonna have a center injury, or we're gonna have a wing injury, and we're gonna move a center to the wing.
Yeah. And
we're gonna have Parker Kelly. Belmar's gonna move up to our 3C, and Parker Kelly will be our 4C. Like, it just feels like that's what this is building toward.
Sure.
And that they want to take that look the same way they did with Yakov Trenin last year, except Parker Kelly's a little more limited and not as important as Yakov Trenin ended up being to the Avalanche last season. He's a wing. He should be on the wing. I don't mind them like moonlighting him at center and being like, hey, we're just trying to take a look here. This isn't a real experiment. They did the same thing with Riley Tufte last season, and he moved eventually back to where he belonged on the wing, and it was like, hey,
this is where he should be. Yeah.
This is who he is. This is what he is. It's fine. And Kelly, I thought we didn't love his camp.
But not a guy who's going to show well at a camp either.
And gets into a normal game, and he's in a game against NHL players, and I liked it a lot more.
I will say, did have one tough shift where he kind of gets caught on, was it Dallas' second goal, I think. Now, to be fair, Jacob McDonald just completely blew a coverage there, too. But he is the guy who gets beat to the back post on that play.
Yeah, and he gets caught puck watching and not picking up his guy coming down the slot. Yeah. And bad read. Yep. But also, he's in the middle of the ice. He's not a center.
Yep. Well, one, he's not a center. And two, if you put him out in a real NHL game intentionally to take a shift against Tyler Seguin, you goofed.
You done goofed. True dat.
He's a fourth liner, all right?
Yeah. Seguin, fourth line wing.
Right.
He is miscast in that job. If he gets caught out there, they have the advantage.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to look.
Yeah. I would hope that whichever defenseman on the ice plays it better than Jacob McDonald did, but ignoring that aspect of it, Kelly loses that coverage.
For sure.
Hey, he just did. We're talking about a borderline NHL guy here.
Right.
He signed a 2-year deal worth less than $900,000. Like,
second year's one way.
There was not a robust market there for that guy, you know? Like, it's...
Yep.
He's a guy that should be able to help, but he's not going to be a guy that we look back and be like, what a signing, you know?
So where do you see that order of him versus Chris Wagner as the 12th, 13th, 14th, whatever?
I would have him ahead of Wagner just because, as we've talked about a couple times this week, that right side's kind of full, and that's where Wagner's going to be at center.
Yep.
He's going to be at right wing. Those two spots right now are a little full.
It's true.
And I think that just hurts Wagner's chances. The left side is where Kelly is more of a natural fit.
Yep.
I think that kind of like with DeHaan, it inherently makes him more valuable and pushes him ahead.
Agreed.
I did like Wagner tonight, though.
It does feel like Wagner, by no fault of his own, has been squeezed out a little bit by the Belmar moves and things like that.
Yeah, by Belmar and just Kovalenko, Cal Ritchie,
Yep.
you know, those guys are all just kind of pushing him down a little bit.
Yep. Not to say will not shock me at all when he gets a handful of games this year because of injuries or whatever it is. But
fully expect him to be one of the first call-up options.
Especially if a center goes down or something like that. So makes a lot of sense that both of those guys will be guys you see some this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is there... I think it's pretty hard to see Chris Wagner carve out a consistent role with the Avs.
Yeah, and if they were comfortable with that, Belmar's PTO doesn't even ever happen.
Right. But is there that path for Kelly, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, if you get the two big question marks back
then
in your lineup...
Then it gets a lot harder, for sure.
Even Lehkonen drawing into the lineup makes it much harder for him to get in there. I mean, we've talked about Parker Kelly might be next to Cal Ritchie and Casey Middlestad on opening night. You know, like there's... That left side is just a lot weaker.
If the Avs get truly, truly healthy, you're talking about Miles Wood. It's barely in the lineup.
Right.
Point.
Miles Wood's going to struggle. He's your fourth line left wing, and then Parker Kelly's like, sorry, guy. Like, you're, like this ideal situation happened to play out, and you're...
Which it won't, but...
It's come at the cost of your opportunity here.
Yeah. That was always going to be the case.
Yeah.
If you go down that road.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I do want to get to the big name on the forward side, but we're not quite there yet. Before we get in to
feels very intentional.
Nikolai Kovalenko, not really. I mean, look, you know where you go to score in the NHL, AJ?
In front of the net.
Yeah, and where is that below?
The belt.
No. Wrong ad read.
Shit. I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing.
Go below the circles,
Oh,
AJ.
man. I enjoyed their beef jerky tonight.
Yeah. Little Circle K inner circle action for you. I had some of their sunflower seeds, delicious stuff today. Good snacks for any road trip, which, AJ, I know you're packing up again soon for. So
Sunday.
pick up some Circle K on the way. Make sure you sign up for their Circle K Inner Circle rewards today. You can download their app and get a bunch of amazing deals, including 25 cents off a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. After you fill up with Circle K, you can also get a bunch of other amazing deals on snacks, like I mentioned, including buy 5, get a 6th free, any size 79-cent. What are they called? I actually don't remember what their drinks are called. I'm sorry, Circle K. I'm not a big...
Polar Pops.
Polar Pops, thank you. I don't drink fountain drinks from
Same.
places like that. I go in there. I'll tell you my order every single time when you go in. Beef jerky, Mountain Dew, and a muffin.
Nice. A muffin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
From a gas station.
Yeah.
My God.
They're good. So go hit up Circle K. Go get your snack order from Circle K today with the Circle K Inner Rewards app. Of course, you must apply for offers, and terms and conditions do apply as well. Circle K today. Now, where AJ was trying to go was this conversation.
About Nikolai Kovalenko?
When it comes to Jared Bednar, I guess you would say first impressions are important. Yes, AJ?
Yes.
What about long-lasting impressions?
It is important to last a long time.
This is where Blue Chew comes in.
God.
As AJ mentioned, first impressions and lasting impressions are important. Blue Chew helps boost your confidence in the bedroom so you can stay hard and perform at the very best. Kovalenko, best performer today?
Yeah, I would say that he played hard and performed at his very best. So,
Would you say a solid stick?
I would say it is a rock hard performance for him to hang his hat on.
Wonderful. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable tablet form. Go check them out if you haven't had the opportunity here. If you want to give it a try, you can try it free for a month and see. You're going to love it, and your partner, more importantly, is going to love it. So make sure you get in on this special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ALLCITY for your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
It was our first and last Blue Chew read. God.
Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Kovalenko, memeing aside, very, very good performance from him tonight. It felt like,
Yeah.
I will never want to say 100% sure, but any doubts of him not getting into the lineup to at least start the season probably disappeared tonight.
Well, when you talk about what does it look like, 10 of 10 performance look like out of a guy?
Yeah.
You look at, I thought Ivan was really good.
Yep. About as good as he could be.
And you look at the difference between Ivan and Nikolai Kovalenko in this game. Nikolai Kovalenko was excellent, and he's causing problems for an NHL lineup for the Stars.
Yep. He looked like he belonged.
Yeah, he definitely was the number one star for me in this game. I was really trying to avoid star, but I didn't know.
Well.
He was the number one performer.
Best player.
Yes, for the Avs tonight. He made the biggest impression alongside Sam Malinski. Both of those guys had excellent nights and separated.
Agree fully. And the thing with Kovalenko is, look, obviously the goals stand out, particularly the second one. It's a complete individual effort for him to get into the zone, get in deep, and then ultimately find Kelly to set up the second goal.
Such a nice little chip pass, too.
Yep.
Like
to flip it back behind the two guys who are over chasing him.
You want to talk about bad coverage? The Stars have
it was bad.
3 guys chasing behind the net, but Kovalenko exploits it. It's a perfect play.
Yep.
It's the play that you want, and a great finish from Parker Kelly.
Yep.
But Kovalenko and the feed on the first goal, cross crease,
cuts to the middle of the
from
ice,
behind the net. I mean, it's so good, right? It's so good. And then we had that play later on where he's carries it through the neutral zone, gets into the zone. He's by himself. It's 1-on-3. He cuts across into the middle of the ice. The transition catches up. The Stars lose their coverage a little bit. He makes a nice play. Parker Kelly with another scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
Save is made that time.
Yep.
But Kovalenko uses the physicality, and we saw a lot of that skill in this game. And that's the 10 out of 10 where you're like, okay, come on. Like, this is a guy that can help your lineup somewhere.
And I think it's important, the play I already mentioned, but also before he sets up the first goal in the power play is an opportunity net front where he steps out in front, tries to wrap it around the far side.
Yeah.
He has other plays throughout the night where you can see a guy that can continue to have impact even if it's not necessarily points production.
I take it we should call it a 9.5 out of 10.
Because of that goal that he didn't score.
Because he has an opportunity to tie a third goal, tie the game. It's wide open. It's a great play from Chris Wagner. He's center of the ice right there, and he just misses the net.
Just doesn't even get it
and
on
then
net.
Gets dinged up a little bit on it, which...
And he looked to be fine.
We
but
couldn't really tell what was bothering him. We talked to the trainer, played, no big deal. We'll see. We'll see. I don't ever want to say no big deal. It's the Avs. He might be dead. But it was outside of that one little... that could have been a little bit better.
Everything else was pretty darn solid.
Excellent game out of Nikolai Kovalenko. Exactly the kind of performance where you're like, all right, we've got competition. There's a little bit of heat in this.
Yep.
Kovalenko, Cal Ritchie, right side, Casey Middlestat. That job is up for grabs. You can see these guys are fighting for it.
Yep. The battle is on.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much more time on him, but I will say defensive zone, he was fine. I don't think he was great. Didn't have any unbelievable plays.
I really didn't notice it a ton.
And that is my point. You didn't notice it. Compared to, you look at a Jean-Luc Foudy, you're like, wow, he had a couple of tough shifts in the defensive zone tonight.
Yeah.
You look at a Parker Kelly, gets beat to the back post on a goal. With Kovalenko, if you're going to have an offensive game like that and you don't get blown up defensively, you're fine.
It was also a little tough to focus on 100% of the game because you and I were having an in-depth conversation about the pitfalls of social media in society. So we had some things happening.
There was not a ton interesting going on in the first and third periods of this hockey game.
Yeah,
so
we had some chat time.
I think the Avs had 5 shots on goal in the first. It was tough. Anyway.
They outperformed our expectations. We were
They did. They scored 2 goals.
Yeah, we said 1 goal, 20 shots on goal.
What they in 23, 24 or something
honestly
like that?
don't know. I know they were at 19 when I last looked, and I'm just assuming.
They got more than that for sure, but we're ready for that game to be over.
Yeah.
It's a preseason game at the end of the day still.
Definitely.
So, with Kovalenko earning his keep or whatever you want to call it in a game like this.
Making a statement.
I guess my question is, and we can include the defenseman on this, you kind of already talked about this. How many more games do you want to see out of these guys?
Kovalenko, I think I want to see 2 more.
Okay.
The defenseman, I want to see at least 1 more from each of Shillington, Brandstrom, DeHaan, and Malinski.
Okay.
Just math-wise, seems highly likely that happens. Probably 2. You'll probably see 2 more games from the guys that they are really
honing in on.
Yeah.
Let me take this a step further. You got the DeHaan Malinski pairing tonight. If you're going to see more games out of these defensemen and forwards, honestly, how do you want to shake it out? Do you want to see a game with Kovalenko next to Middlestat?
Repeat.
Who do you want line mates to be throughout the rest of the preseason?
I want to see both Cal Ritchie and Nikolai Kovalenko get an opportunity alongside Casey Middlestat primarily. Okay. And then whatever they do on that left side. It honestly just feels like it's so temporary because Lehkonen should be back quickly enough that
2-3 weeks. Yeah.
Right. That might even be generous, right?
Throw Parker Kelly on there or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
So I want to see those guys each get a shot next to Middlestat and then go from there. How'd they look next to him?
So defensive pairings then. Do you want to see a Brandstrom with Shillington again, DeHaan with Malinski again, that style of thing? Or do you want to see maybe throw one of them up next to a Josh Manson or something like that?
Yeah, I'd like to see a little mixture, not just with each other, but maybe a mixture with a Devon Taves or a Josh Manson, just to give him a different look.
Yep. All right. Bednar did say Makar was going to have to learn to play without Taves this year.
We'll see how true that was. As soon as these games start to count, I am fully expecting Jared Bednar to be like...
The same way Mac and Miko will be stapled together. Yeah.
I've got my dogs. Like, what do we... Come on. Seriously.
I don't know.
You can easily make the argument, though, that they are doing themselves a disservice by trying to break up their best players playing together.
It's a fair argument, to be
You
sure.
look at the Edmonton Oilers as a great example of this. Is Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard their two best defensemen?
Yep.
Yes.
Not complicated.
Yes. When Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid play alongside each other, they are dynamite. When you take them apart, Connor McDavid is still dynamite. And Leon Draisaitl is pretty good.
Yeah.
You put them together, and they are world beaters.
Yeah.
Best with the best. Pittsburgh did this for a long time with Evgeny Malkin, where push came to shove, we're going to put Malkin next to Crosby.
Yep. When it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's people, I think, like to overestimate. Oh, well, it's fine. If you move Mikko down a line, McKinnon will just keep scoring at this absurd clip. And he might. It's possible. But he also might not. And then you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
For the sake of trying to get more production down the lineup by removing production up the lineup.
Yeah, and look, if we live in a situation where Landeskog and Nichushkin and Lehkonen are all back in the lineup, it's much easier to break these guys up.
You have 7 top 6 forwards.
Because as we have talked about in the past, Rantanen and McKinnon weren't together in their cup run.
True.
But that was a much deeper team, and it was a very different.
And
their forward core was built differently.
Even that team, when it came down to it, if they needed a goal, the 3-headed monster was coming over the bench.
Right.
Like
Landeskog, Arturi Lehkonen is a great av. He's been a great fit here. He's a fan favorite. Low worker bee, as Blake likes to say.
Yeah.
Gabe Landeskog's just better.
Yeah.
When they needed it, they could put those three together, and it was very different. It was just a very different world. Even Lehkonen, Landeskog, Nichushkin, you could put any of those three guys next to those two guys, and it just
Let them go.
all three combinations could catch fire at any moment on any shift.
Yep.
And you just don't feel that way about Casey Middlestat, Mikko Rantanen.
It's true.
Hey, it's harder for teams to just load up their guys, but Colorado's guys are just better than most of the other team's best players.
Yep.
So it makes sense to continue to run them out. I personally would love to balance it out better. That's my personal preference. It's very understandable why they're just going, hey, these are our dogs. These are our guys. We've hitched our wagon. We've paid a lot of money for these cats.
They should go out and do it. Yeah.
These guys have won a cup together. Like,
Not that complicated sometimes.
yeah.
Anyway, wanted to throw that out there as a conversation because we'll have interesting conversations down the line of does that top line end up being Drew and Lehkonen and McKinnon at some point this year? It might.
Yeah.
But those conversations in preseason are
it might.
next week or the week after is even problem.
Yeah, and so premature because the injuries will always change this
They
math.
always do.
And
They always
they
do.
already the season hasn't started, and we're like, well, if they get Nichushkin back and they get Landeskog back,
Yeah, right.
who knows? If they get $13 million worth of top 6 forwards, they would be.
They look a little bit
They would be
different, yeah.
much better than they are today.
Just factual. No argument there.
Your flexibility changes massively overnight, but
Hey, look, based on the
It's not
last
where they are.
couple of nights of preseason games, maybe we should just be thankful that the Avs got out of this one with no injuries on the surface.
absolutely, always thankful. Always thankful. That's why the Kobe moment was so scary, where
Yeah.
it was like it didn't look like much, but he's clearly uncomfortable. He's hurting. He's on the
You're
bench.
like,
He's
not
doubled
like
over.
this. Yep.
Trainer's talking to him like,
It's tough out here.
yeah,
Sucks to be LA right now.
that's tough, man. That's tough.
I always feel terrible. Obviously, any injury sucks, but for an
Yeah.
injury to a player where your season doesn't even start yet,
Yeah.
and it's like your season might be over.
Oh, month to month, and that's your number one defenseman.
Yep. Brutal way. But it is what it is. That is the hockey gods giving and taking. Wish for the best, expect the worst, I guess. It's the best you can do with that. Win. You think about horrible injuries to your hockey team. Sometimes you might want to drink those issues away. That's where Breckenridge Brewery comes in. You can also, drink to enjoy while you're watching a hockey game too. Totally fair. Breck Brew, the official craft beer of DNVR. You can get yours anywhere in the United States. Use their Breck Beer Locator online at breckbrew.com today. They've got a flavor for everyone. Of course, the Avalanche Amber is my go-to. You got to rep it. But whether you like their new fall beer, which I don't even know the flavor of. They usually don't go with the pumpkin flavor. They go with something else a little bit different. As Yaya's setting up the set to make it look real nice with the Breck Brew. They've got their new Broncos Country. There's a bunch of other ones that they have. Literally dozens of flavors. I can't name them all. The Juice Drop, the Palisade Peach one. I don't know. I don't know their names. I just drink them. Don't ask me. All right? Go get yourself Breck Brew and drink it. It's that simple. BreckBrew.com. Again, check out all their merch and to find a beer near you.
Gonna have to use that Breck Brew locator to pick some up out in Connecticut this season.
Yeah.
I'll be able to drink during games because I won't have to worry about driving home.
Must be nice, bud.
It'll be different.
And then, come support us. Yes, you can do things like become a diehard, but really cool things we've got going on right now at DNVR, especially for our takeovers. You're going to want to check out this year's takeovers. Our first one is on November 15th against the Washington Capitals. There's a link right there to go to our events page, or you can also find it down in the description of the video. Go sign up for our takeovers. You get to watch it with me. I know, not that cool. You get to watch it with Eric Lacroix. Yeah, pretty cool. And we're going to be bringing a couple of players that I can't officially announce yet, but
to watch the greatest goal scorer maybe ever, we might bring along a couple of goal scorers as well.
Yeah, there you go.
A goal scorer or two. We'll see.
So go sign up. Pretty cool stuff coming. Going to be pretty cool people to watch a game with. And to kick in, you also get a party bus to and from the arena with free beer. Come join us. Come watch a hockey game for the takeover. All right. Fourth period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I don't really have a ton else to say. We'll probably keep this period pretty short. But look, you're 2 games into preseason. I think a handful of players have distinctly put themselves in the lead for their positional battles, but still a long way to go here.
You still have 4 games left. It's funny because this time next week,
there will be 2 games, or 1 game even.
Yeah, several of those games will have happened, and we will be feeling very differently about these positional battles.
Yep. It'll come quick.
Yep.
Put it
a week ago, we were at training camp.
Yeah. Week before that, we were at the rookie face-off. Week before that, we were in July-August. So.
Yep, we were just chilling.
I'm glad we're not there. I'll put it to you that way. Could be worse out here. The rest of these games, things like Nikita Prishchapov, you're probably hoping for another good game for him to try and earn a contract.
Yeah.
Not that he was terrible, but a game against a significant number of NHLers in the lineup against him predictably disappeared a little bit.
Yeah, and when we talk about after last game, it was an AHL lineup. He showed out a little bit. We looked pretty good, looked smart, very, very well fit in.
Yep.
And we were talking about maybe an AHL contract.
Yep.
To play against AHL players. If tonight was confirmation that Nikita Prishchapov is not ready for the NHL, great.
You should have already known that.
Yeah,
But
I didn't think that a 7th-round pick that they just made a few months ago was likely to crack the NHL lineup this year.
Yep.
So I'm okay with that. He did disappear into the shuffle. Didn't notice him much. Very quiet game compared to what he did a couple nights ago. Very different competition level.
Yeah.
Very different.
For sure.
I would still be on the AHL contract path. It didn't change any of that for me.
Every single overager the Avs have drafted. If you didn't plan on signing them to a contract, why did you draft an overager?
Yeah, and especially what they did with Hansel was
wildly. I don't even know. Yeah.
We're going to trade him at the deadline. Whatever.
We're not going there. We're not going there. Any final thoughts on this game, AJ, before we hit our super chats and get out of here?
No, this will be my last post game.
Yep.
For a while. I leave and I won't be back on a post game on the set anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will join remotely and all that.
We'll get some call-ins or whatever.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys will get a rant or two along the way. But no, it's it's always fun. It's been really fun to do these post games with you. Just the 2 of us kicking it old school felt very like
OG moments.
Yeah, it's been very fun. The preseason has been fun and rewarding, but I got to get back to my new home and
do this writing or whatever.
Well, and it's funny because I have some bold predictions coming for the division previews. I don't know if you looked at those.
I have not looked at those.
And I will not be, here to record the video, so you guys are just going to see my predictions, and that's that. They're just going to float out there.
Then they'll be there.
I won't be there to defend it and fight you guys.
I was making them earlier today, and I was like, whoa, AJ's way different than most of these guys.
Spicy. All right. Let's get to these super chats then. We have a couple. Appreciate y'all tonight. $2 from Melanie, always vibing with us. Have a great weekend. You too, Melanie.
You too.
Always appreciate your super chats. $5 from Trevor, who says, super excited to see you on the pod, AJ. Also, damn, son, you're looking really good.
Thank you.
Killing it out here.
Yeah.
And then $2 from WB, who says, glad to have the band back together. AJ, you rock.
Thanks, buddy.
There you go.
I feel bad doing those super chats right after I was like, gotta
also,
go.
I'm leaving. Bye.
Bye. But yeah, it is time for me to get back to getting,
You're the money draw here, AJ. We all know that.
All right.
You bring in the big bucks.
This is all, well, if that's the case, I'm doing something seriously wrong.
Hey, all right. The yacht fund's doing well.
Yeah, I mean, now it seems like there's a PJ fund, so.
Yacht, PJ, kind of the same.
Yeah, my dream one of these days is to be around when one of those happens. I want to do like Lala and Vanderpump, and I want to be in my PJs and fly in a PJ.
PJ's on the PJ?
Exactly. Yep.
Someday. We'll see how it goes. All right. We are going to wrap up this post-game show. We hope y'all enjoyed. We will be off Saturday and we will be off Sunday. We will have the post-game of Sunday's game for you Monday at our normal pod time. Actually, that's not true. Our pod time is moving up 15 minutes. We start 1:45 Mountain instead of 2. So don't be late. 1:45 start time. Breakdown on Monday, and then Tuesday we'll do our first real full preseason dressage show. We'll have the pregame, we'll have the watch along, we'll have the postgame for you.
Fruto, this comment says the Blue Chew boys are breaking up already. I would just like to say it's probably because that read went too hard.
They can't keep us together. We're too powerful.
That's right. Exactly.
But should be fun. Be sure to tune in Monday and Tuesday. And, of course, the rest of the week. We're still live 5 days a week, breaking it all down for you. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something fun for the start of the season in Europe, too. We'll see. We'll talk to you soon. Until then, goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.